Hey friends, what's up? Phillip here with Points with Phillip, and I'm actually here because, well, I got a interesting offer in the mail talking about the Aven credit card, and so I decided to do some deeper digging, and what I did see was that a lot of people actually are on Reddit are actually kind of asking why more people aren't talking about this card, so I decided, why not? Let's go ahead and start a conversation on this card and see what it might be good for. Let's get into it. But before I do want to get into it, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful for people like you. Doing that also helps more people to enjoy this content too. So I really definitely appreciate everything that you guys do. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the Aven cards. So I am actually going to go ahead and take a look at this mailer and kind of read some interesting things. So first of all, the Aven card gives you 2% cash back on every single purchase. Now, sometimes there's a sign-up bonus where they give you 3% back up to the first $10,000 in spend, but the offer that I'm seeing online and the offer that I'm seeing in my hand doesn't actually have that. So I'm not going to talk about that, but what I do see is that it's 2% unlimited cash back. Now, the great thing about the Aven card, or I guess I should say the most important reason we should care about the Aven card at least, is because this is actually it presents as a credit card, but as far as the type of account, it's actually a little bit different. So it actually functions based off of your home equity. And so this is actually on the back end functions very similar to a HELOC or a home equity line of credit. And so this card actually allows you to kind of, because it's actually secured, it's based off of your home equity. First of all, that allows you to have significantly higher credit limits, but it also gives you access to lower APR rates for those balances. And so the rates that they're giving me are as low as 6.49%, but they do say that it looks like it caps out at 14.99%. Now, Aven does say that they kind of only do kind of this premium select borrower that actually knows kind of what they're doing and kind of is a savvy homeowner. So I'm not really sure, like, you know, if they were a little less selective, if that interest rate would be higher anyway, because, well, my Fidelity Rewards Visa has an 18% interest rate, and so 16.99% isn't really that much lower than 18%. However, if we're comparing, say, the Capital One rate or the Robinhood rate, so the Robinhood rate on my Robinhood Gold card is 35% APR, and so 14.99 or 6.49 are substantially smaller than 35%. So if you're someone that's dealing with that kind of range of credit card, APRs, then, well, this card could really be helpful. Now, this card kind of actually works as, well, some interesting different types of financial products. So first of all, you can actually, once you're approved, and the approval process is a little bit more involved because you have to have a notary public and you actually have to go through kind of like open a HELOC. However, apparently it's significantly less expensive than just opening up a standard HELOC with your bank. But you can either just use your card and you can just pay for it and it goes against that balance, and then you can kind of pay like a credit card. And so in that sense, like essentially as long as you pay your balance in time and in full and on time by the due date, you actually don't have to pay any interest at all, right? However, if you do have to put a balance over time, having access to lower interest rates could be significantly nice, because having a 6.49, assuming best case scenario, you are actually substantially saving from the 25% or 28% average credit card APR. And so this could be actually a great way to do it. However, if you just, let's say that you're actually like redoing your kitchen or something and you need a huge lump of cash, you can also get that from Aven. So if you do a balance transfer or a cash out, that will actually put you on a payment plan. And so you actually have to pay that every year. Well, that could be helpful. So you do the cash out. Now, if you do the cash out, there is a particular fee. So online, it says 2.5% of that balance. On my personal mailer, it says 4.5%. So beware of kind of how much that is. So maybe the cash out is worth it. But then it goes to your bank account. So whatever bank account you tell it to go to, it will send that cash out money. And then, of course, you can also balance transfer anything you have on existing credit cards onto the Aven credit card. And of course, you don't earn rewards on that, but paying that lower kind of asset-backed security information can be substantially helpful when it comes to saving money on interest and trying to consolidate those loans. So the Aven credit card is a couple different financial products all rolled into one. It can be considered a line of credit, but it also has this ability that could be your one-stop shop for your shopping, because 2% cash back is a great catch-all if you are on Team Cash Back. And you do have access to more higher credit limits. So let's say if you are someone who has substantial costs that you're expecting to have to pay, like college tuition or something, you could put it on this. And it actually might be cheaper than some of your private student loan interest rates. Something to consider. Now, what is the problem here? The problem is that you are converting. So if you're doing a balance transfer, or if you're spending on this card and carrying a balance, you are converting unsecured debt into secured debt. And what that means is your debt, if you were to default or were to declare bankruptcy, it would go against an asset that you have, which is your home. So the one thing we need to consider is that you are taking something that is unsecured, but expensive, turning it into secured but relatively inexpensive, but there is an inherent risk. Now, I've looked at Aven's kind of press kit here, and I want to read directly what they say about it. So they say, when someone can't pay, they say, we protect people by carefully determining who gets our card. The home card is a premium card for savvy homeowners and not for everyone. As a result, very few people default. Aven also offers an optional debt protection plan at no margin to us. That covers customers if they become involuntarily unemployed. In the event someone does get in trouble, we work with them to structure a payment plan. Foreclosure is a last resort. This is not our business model. So they promise up, down, and sideways that they are not in the business of foreclosure. And so if you do have a balance with them that you're unable to pay because, well, you've lost a job or something, they do say that they have a program that will allow you to continue to pay on your debts in a way that makes everybody happy and keeps your credit secure. And so, well, that's kind of important. So now the limits are interesting. The cashback is interesting. It's a really interesting card in that it has a lot of different ways to help you out. So, what are some ways that I would use this? So if I had the Aven card, and let's say that I was someone who was just getting into the points and miles game, and I was trying to consolidate some past indiscretions, right? So let's say I ran up a couple of credit cards and I was trying to get back. Now, let's say if I had $1,000, credit, or let's say I had $10,000 in credit card debt at 30% interest. That is a substantial amount of money that you're paying every year, and that money could be going towards paying off that debt, right? So doing a balance transfer, does come with expenses, right? You do have a balance transfer fee, things like that. But what it does allow you to do is put more of your income long term into actually paying down that debt when compared to keeping it on that credit card. And so if you're someone who owns a home, but you're trying to kind of help your credit in a different way or kind of save money on interest, then that could be really helpful. Now, another person that could benefit from this type of credit is if you're someone who knows that you have kind of substantial expenses that you're coming up. So, for example, if you're adopting a baby, or if you're sending someone to college or something like that, and you want to be able to put that substantial amount on a payment plan over time with a lower interest rate than you might be able to get elsewhere, then this could also be a good option, because you can have access up to, now it says on my personal mailer, it says up to $250,000, but on the website it says up to $400,000. And so you have access to substantial credit card limits, which again can be dangerous if you misuse it. And so that's why you absolutely have to get your stuff in order. And well, the way I got my stuff in order was by using an app called Copilot. I don't have a relationship with them, so you won't see an affiliate link down below, but it is what I personally use. And what I use it to actually transfer a bit of, essentially, I use it to keep track of all of my spending across all of my credit cards. And so what that does, it allows me to say, okay, if I open up my app, I say, oh, I have $150 left that I can spend on eating out this month according to my budget that I created. And so using something like that is really going to be helpful towards helping you get your life under control. And so that's definitely something that you have to do with this type of debt, because it's secured, and that can be scary if you don't take it seriously. So make sure that you're doing that. But so we have those two people. Now let's say that you're also just someone who definitely maybe not even in the points and miles space, and you're someone who wants to be able to use a credit card regularly. Maybe you don't pay it off from time to time, but you want a credit card that allows you to, first of all, get 2% cash back, right? So that's helpful. And then you also want something that doesn't have an annual fee, but also allows you to kind of roll balances every once in a while at a significantly lower interest rate. So this could also be helpful for someone like you. So this is a card. It comes with some really great features. We haven't jumped the gun on this yet because we decided to get a specific, adoption line of credit for what we were considering. But honestly, it does have some benefits and does have some uses. And so, well, I at least wanted to talk about it and share about it with you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this card. Is it something that you would consider getting, or is it something that you view as too dangerous to consider? Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again. Until next time.